Three massive weather systems are colliding right now, and what computer models just revealed will change everything you thought you knew about winter storms. If you're anywhere between the Rockies and the Atlantic Ocean, the next 7 days will test every preparation you've made. Here's what's critical. By the 30-second mark, you'll understand why meteorologists are calling this a once-in-a-decade atmospheric setup. And here's the promise I'm making to you right now. In the next 5 minutes, you'll know exactly when this hits your city, what to expect hour by hour, and the 3 essential steps that could protect your family and property. No guessing games, just facts. Right this second, an Alberta Clipper is racing across the northern states at speeds that caught even veteran forecasters off guard. Snowfall rates hitting 2 inches every single hour. That's enough to bury a sedan in 6 hours. Think about that for a moment. Minneapolis is getting hammered as we speak. Wisconsin and Michigan, you're next in the crosshairs within 3 hours. But here's what makes this different from every winter storm you've seen before. This isn't just one system, it's a triple threat. 2 rapid-fire clippers in the next 48 hours, followed by something meteorologists study their entire careers to witness. A collision between record warmth surging north and Arctic air that refuses to budge. The temperature contrasts we're tracking are breaking weather computer models. I'm talking about 30 degrees above normal in Nebraska while blizzards rage 300 miles away. That doesn't happen by accident. That's atmospheric warfare, and we're all caught in the middle. Now let me show you exactly what's happening with our jet stream. It looks like a roller coaster that's jumped the tracks. Multiple dips and ridges creating danger zones from Maine to Texas. This messy pattern is your first warning sign. When the jet stream gets this chaotic, Mother Nature is preparing something big. The first Clipper system is moving through the Midwest today. Light snow and freezing rain developing across Minnesota by noon. Minneapolis residents, this is your window to prepare. Cancel non-essential travel for the next 12 hours. Wisconsin, especially areas near Eau Claire and Wausau, you're looking at a dangerous mix of snow and freezing rain by mid-afternoon. By tonight, heavy snow moves into Michigan. The Upper Peninsula could see half a foot. Detroit and Grand Rapids, prepare for snow rates that will create whiteout conditions by evening rush hour. And here's the critical detail most forecasts are missing. Wind speeds are going to amplify this dramatically. We're not just talking about snow, we're talking about near blizzard conditions. Monday morning brings the first system into New York and New England. If you're commuting for work, leave early or work from home if possible. Light snow will linger through the evening commute in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and southern Maine. Not massive amounts, but enough to create treacherous conditions during rush hour. Here's where the story takes a dramatic turn. While that first Clipper wraps up Monday night, a second Alberta Clipper develops over the northern plains. This one is different. This one is stronger. By Tuesday morning, it explodes into a much larger system, dumping heavy snow and significant ice from Minnesota through Wisconsin and into Michigan. The ice accumulation forecast has emergency managers on high alert. We're expecting up to 1/4 inch of ice, which is the threshold where power lines start snapping. Milwaukee, Madison, Green Bay, charge every device you own right now. Stock up on batteries and non-perishable food. 1/4 inch doesn't sound like much until you're sitting in the dark for 3 days. Wednesday morning brings the ice threat into New England. Untreated roadways could force school cancellations. This is prime time for accidents, so if you don't have to drive, don't. Now, at the 5-minute mark, I promised you the main event. Here it is. By Thursday, a monster storm system forms over the Rockies. This is where every computer model we rely on starts showing major disagreements. And that uncertainty should concern all of us. The American GFS model shows a slower moving system tracking through the weekend. Severe thunderstorms developing Friday morning from Dallas through Kentucky and West Virginia. By late Friday, the severe weather threat shifts into the Dixie Alley. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes become possible from Louisiana through Alabama and Mississippi. On the winter side, the GFS focuses heavy snow toward Indiana, Ohio, and the Northeast late Friday into Saturday. Blizzard conditions are on the table with high winds and heavy snow rates. This could be a crippling event for the Northeast, potentially dumping over a foot in some locations. But here's the twist that has meteorologists doing double takes. The European model, which often handles winter storms better than the American model, shows something completely different. It develops the storm faster, hitting Thursday night into Friday. Severe weather breaks out earlier across a much larger area from Texas through Missouri and into Indiana and Ohio. The European model places heavy snow 400 to 500 miles further west. Nebraska, Kansas, eastern Colorado, areas that have seen almost nothing this winter, suddenly facing significant snowfall. Some locations could see 6 to 12 inches, which would be their biggest snow event in years. This level of disagreement only 5 days out is unusual. Most of the time, when we're this close to an event, computer models converge on a solution. The fact that they haven't tells us something important. This atmospheric setup is so complex, so energetic, that even our most advanced forecasting systems are struggling to process it. Here's what we know with confidence. Moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, energy from a Pacific storm system, and a jet stream dip coming together in a very tight window. The exact track of this storm depends on how these pieces phase together Thursday and Friday. A shift of just 100 miles changes everything. If the storm tracks further north, we're talking about potential record-breaking heat in the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes on Friday. Temperatures 20 to 30 degrees above normal. That warm air creates a massive, severe weather risk, the kind of setup that produces violent tornadoes and widespread wind damage. If the storm tracks further south, the severe weather threat concentrates in the deep south. Snow pushes further into the Central Plains. Either way, this storm impacts over 100 million Americans. From Seattle to Miami, virtually no one escapes this weather revolution. Let me break down the temperature trend because this is truly remarkable. Tomorrow, many areas in Nebraska, South Dakota, and Texas will be around 30 degrees above average. We're talking about record-breaking territory. Omaha and Des Moines hitting temperatures you'd expect in April, not January. Dallas potentially approaching 70 degrees while blizzards rage to the north. By Tuesday and Wednesday, this heat dome expands across the Great Plains, Midwest, and Southeast. Almost nowhere in the country sees below average temperatures except the West Coast. This is an enormous warm surge, and it's setting the stage for that massive storm system. Thursday and Friday bring the question marks. If the storm tracks north, record heat continues in the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. If it tracks south, that heat stays concentrated in the southeast with 20 degrees above normal readings. The exact temperature forecast depends entirely on storm placement, which is why we're monitoring this so closely. Now, here's the most important part. Coming at the 12-minute mark, what should you actually do to prepare? First, understand your specific threat. If you're in the northern tier from Minnesota through Michigan and into New England, your primary concerns are snow, ice, and power outages. Charge devices now. Fill your gas tank. Make sure you have enough supplies to shelter in place for 3 days if power goes out. If you're in the central United States from Texas through the Ohio Valley, you're facing a dual threat. Severe weather Thursday and Friday, followed by a potential winter storm into the weekend. Have your severe weather plan ready. Know where your safe spot is. Make sure your weather radio or phone alerts are active. Check your flashlight batteries. For those in the southeast from Louisiana through Georgia and the Carolinas, severe weather is your primary concern. Damaging winds and tornadoes are possible Friday into Friday night. Review your tornado safety plan with your family. Identify the lowest level of your home, away from windows, have sturdy shoes and a helmet nearby. The western United States, particularly the Pacific Northwest, you're looking at continued heavy rain and mountain snow. Seattle and Portland, this pattern persists through the week. River flooding could become an issue with repeated rainfall. Monitor local flood warnings closely. Here's something critical that separates those who weather storms successfully from those who struggle. Preparation isn't about panic. It's about prudent stewardship of the blessings we've been given. Taking care of our families, our neighbors, our communities, that's wisdom, not fear. By God's grace, we have the technology and knowledge to see these storms coming. That's a gift our grandparents didn't have. We can prepare. We can help others prepare. That's our responsibility. Stock your pantry not just for yourself, but with extra to share. Check on elderly neighbors. Make sure they have what they need. Offer to pick up supplies for someone who can't get out easily. That's how communities get through difficult times together. If you operate a farm or ranch across the plains, secure everything immediately. Livestock need shelter from rapid weather changes. Equipment should be protected. This isn't the time to leave things to chance. Construction crews and outdoor workers, here's your warning. Shut down operations in impact zones Thursday and Friday. No job is worth risking your life in severe weather or whiteout conditions. Live to work another day. Truckers, I'm speaking directly to you. Avoid the central United States Thursday through Saturday if possible. If you must travel through the impact zone, have multiple contingency plans. Know where every truck stop and safe harbors along your route. Don't push through dangerous conditions because of a deadline. Your life is worth more than any cargo. Emergency management teams across the central United States should activate disaster protocols immediately. This represents a multi-hazard event. Severe weather, winter storms, potential power outages, all happening simultaneously across a huge area. Coordinate resources now before the event starts. School districts should prepare for possible cancellations Wednesday through Friday depending on your location. Don't wait until the last minute to make these decisions. Student and staff safety must come first. Power companies are already prepositioning crews. Ice storms in the upper Midwest Tuesday and Wednesday could cause widespread outages. Having crews staged ahead of time speeds restoration efforts dramatically. Airports should prepare for major delays and cancellations Thursday through Saturday. Chicago O'Hare, Denver International, Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson all could see significant disruptions. If you have travel plans, build in flexibility. Have a backup plan. Monitor flight status closely. Interstate highways from the Rockies to the Atlantic could become parking lots or danger zones within hours. I-70, I-80, I-90 through the storm zone, all potential trouble spots. If you don't have to travel, don't. If you must travel, pack an emergency kit. Blankets, water, snacks, phone charger, flashlight, first aid supplies. Now, here's what makes this pattern even more significant for the bigger picture. This isn't just a one-time event. This represents a complete reorganization of our atmospheric patterns. The jet stream configuration we're seeing sets up a pattern that could persist into February. The energy sources driving this are coming from both the Pacific and Atlantic. That's unusual for January. When both oceans contribute energy simultaneously, we get these explosive weather patterns. Global weather connections creating a perfect storm of atmospheric chaos. Seattle and Portland could see spillover effects bringing much-needed precipitation but also dangerous mountain snow. The Cascades could measure snow in feet over the next week. Avalanche danger will increase significantly. Las Vegas and Phoenix might experience their wettest January in years as this system reorganizes western flow patterns. Desert Southwest. Don't ignore this. Flash flooding is possible with heavy rain on hard-packed desert soil. Salt Lake City and Boise monitor closely. Mountain snow could be measured in feet, not inches. Passes could become impassable. Resort areas will see excellent snow, but travel will be treacherous. The ripple effects from this pattern will be felt coast to coast. Even areas not directly in the storm's path will see impacts. Temperature swings, wind shifts, precipitation changes, all part of this atmospheric reorganization. Here's the honest truth about weather forecasting. We have amazing tools, satellites, radar, computer models, decades of data. But Mother Nature is complex beyond our complete understanding. When we see this level of uncertainty this close to an event, humility is required. We can tell you the threats. We can show you the possibilities. We can help you prepare. But we can't give you perfect certainty about exactly where every snowflake falls or every storm develops. That's why continuous monitoring from reliable sources is essential. Social media weather hype creates confusion and sometimes panic. Amateur speculation sounds confident, but often lacks the education and experience to interpret complex data correctly. During life-threatening weather patterns, trust credible meteorological sources. Your local National Weather Service office, experienced broadcast meteorologists, established weather services with proven track records. This complexity demonstrates why meteorology requires years of study. Understanding when the atmosphere is too chaotic for simple predictions is a professional skill. Knowing what we don't know is as important as knowing what we do know. Human expertise becomes critical when computer models disagree. We don't just read numbers off a screen. We understand atmospheric dynamics, pattern recognition, climatology, local effects. That experience guides our interpretation and helps communicate uncertainty honestly. As we head toward the weekend, updates will come frequently. Tomorrow's forecast will have much more detail on that Thursday-Friday storm system. Hopefully by then, the models will start converging on a solution. Either way, we'll break down every scenario and what it means for you specifically. Wednesday's update will be critical. That's when we'll have high confidence on storm track and timing. Make sure you're checking back daily, maybe even twice daily, Thursday and Friday, as the storm unfolds. Here's my commitment to you. No hype, no exaggeration, just honest assessment of the threats and how to prepare. Weather is serious business when it threatens lives and property. It deserves serious, professional coverage. By God's provision, we have the knowledge to see this coming. By His grace, we have time to prepare. Let's use that time wisely. Check your supplies. Make your plans. Look out for your neighbors. That's how we honor the gifts we've been given and care for the people around us. One more time, let me summarize your key threats by region. Northern tier states, Minnesota through New England, you're dealing with multiple rounds of snow and ice Sunday through Wednesday. Power outages are possible. Prepare accordingly. Central, United States, Texas through the Ohio Valley, your primary window is Thursday and Friday. Severe weather first, potentially followed by winter weather into the weekend. Dual threat situation requiring dual preparation. Southeast states, Louisiana through the Carolinas. Severe weather Friday into Friday night. Tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail, all possible. Have your safety plan ready. Western states, Pacific Northwest and Desert Southwest, continued active weather. Heavy rain, mountain snow, potential flooding. Monitor local warnings. Everybody else, you're not off the hook. This pattern affects the entire nation in various ways. Stay informed about your local situation. As we close, remember this. Weather challenges us, but it also reminds us we're not in control. There's wisdom in that reminder. We prepare as best we can, we help our neighbors, and we trust that no matter what comes, we'll face it together as communities, as families, as people who look out for one another. That's the real story here. Not just the storm, but how we respond to it, with preparation, with compassion, with the understanding that we're all in this together. Tomorrow brings a detailed update on that major storm system. We'll have better clarity on track, timing, and specific impacts. Make sure you're back for that critical information. Until then, stay safe, stay prepared, and may God bless you and keep you through whatever weather comes our way.